this is Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. I am here for a 2025 mid-year WIP parade. This has been the 6-month point of the year. I started my channel in January of this year, so I've been doing Flosstube for 6 months, and it's been so wonderful. I've had so many wonderful connections and made new friends and really just enjoyed being part of this community. So I thought I would jump on the bandwagon and do a mid-year WIP parade as well as I did my first video, which was my New Year WIP parade. And this is going to be interesting because it really showed me I had more WIPs than I thought. Not surprising because I feel like Flosstube enables you to start new things more often. But it kind of changed my mind about things. I also found a few WIPs when I was pulling things that I don't think I showed during my first WIP parade because I'd forgotten about them or they were tucked back somewhere. They were some of my first ever cross stitches that obviously I never got back to. So I'm going to do my best to go through it concisely and share details and things. I'm also going to talk about things that I may restart or not continue on with potentially, things like that. A lot of these are newer things you've seen lately because if you watched my last video, I started like, I think 5 or 6 things in the month of June just because my life's been a little bit crazy and starting things was one of the ways that I made myself feel a little bit better about it. And to be honest, that itch has not left. I really want to just start all the things, but we'll see what the rest of the year holds. I know I will probably start more and that's just how life goes, but let's get started. I want this just to be all about stitching. I'll save the life updates and things like that for my next video. I do have already some updates I want to share for that. So hopefully that'll come in the next week or so. But let's just get started. So one of the first things I found when I was, and I'm going to try not to make too much noise with bags and things, but forgive me if I do. One of the first things I found, which I don't think I showed during my first WIP parade, but I can't remember. But when I went back through my little like cubby over here is like my IKEA Calyx shelves. I have like my WIPs that are kind of out of active rotation over there. When I went through that little cubby of them, I found this one, which is October 31st by Cottage Garden Samplings. This was one of the first stitches I ever attempted, and you'll see it's a really, really small start. This was one that I started back when I first was learning to stitch, and it was one where it was a Nicole Spore Sal where I think you could stitch this or something else. I can't remember. The Witches Go Riding or something like that, because there's a specific like hanging stand board that she was using. So I was like, oh, I want to do that. And then I just never carried on. So let me show the chart again. It is really, really cool. And I would like to continue it now that I've remembered that I had it because I forgot. However, the only progress I have is the start of the top little star. And I can tell that this is one of my first starts, even if I didn't already know that, because one, this is a 14 count Ada from Picture This Plus in Wren. So I don't stitch on Ada anymore. I will, but I just don't. In general, it's not my preference. I also started in the top left corner, and I am solely, unless I can't avoid it, I'm solely a bottom left starter now. So now I'm in kind of a pickle because I'm like, well, do I start over, which is my general, because it's so few stitches, I'll probably just put this away and restart it on something else when I feel like it. I'm also in a weird state of uncertainty of, should I keep my Ada cloth? I don't hate to destash it. I've destashed some of it, and I wouldn't mind destashing this. This is Wren. It's a really popular color. Because it's not what I would go to if I had first choice. And I have a lot of fabrics to choose from. So I don't know if I should just get rid of my Aida, or should I keep it for when I want something that's super duper easy to see and stitch on? So what I may do with this one is basically UFO it. I'll do it again later, restart it. And then I might just save this Aida for little smalls and things, like maybe things I make for friends and family that I want to be super easy about. So I'm not sure, but this is a WIP. However, I'm going to probably restart this at some point on a smaller count and either a Lugana or more likely now a linen, because I think I am a linen stitcher. Although I still love Lugana, I'm reaching mostly for my linens right now. But that's also because I'm in the Bestitch Me Linen Club, and that's what I get, and I love their fabrics. So anyways, so that was October 31st. Again, I'm probably just going to restart that. So you probably won't see it again in this iteration. I'll probably just unkit the whole thing, because it literally had so few starts. The other one that I know I never showed you, because I was in the same boat as this one. I think I was like, it's an Aida one, and it's from like when I first started stitching. Let me see if I have an actual picture of it. It's called The Cat Eye of Sauron, which is a Lord of the Rings reference. So it's the cat, but then there's the tower with the eye, like in the film. This is by Cross Stitch For You on Etsy. So I know I bought this in like 2023 when I was first starting. And I started it on Aida, 14 count Stormy Night Aida. So I'm just going to hold it up. All I have done is a portion of the cat at the bottom. This is probably going to get a restart as well. I actually started stitching this for a friend. I would like it too, of course, for myself, but I did initially start stitching it for a friend. But this is humongous. Like, that's just the, like, not even the whole bottom of the cat. That's maybe like a portion of the bottom of the tail. So I don't want to stitch that on 14 count and it be huge. So again, yes, it was in my kind of inactive WIPs, but I'm probably going to either, honestly, let me be real, I'm probably going to cut that black off and just put this back in stash and start that some other time on a higher count fabric and then not an Aida. I do like this Aida though. It's the Stormy Night. Now, you'll see I'm starting this on something else, or I have something else later. If you followed me, you'll know what I'm talking about, in this color, but in a Lugana that I am struggle busting with. But I think this Aida is actually, I like this Aida. It's not soft like Picture This Plus is, but it's not as crunchy. And I think this is good for like some spooky stitching and things like that. So I'm basically going to unkit those two things and restart them later. So I think those are the only two things that are kind of a completely unkit and come back some other time. No scheduled time. Okay. The next thing is the Bear, which is another Cottage Garden Samplings. I started this kind of along with Eli of Thick Threads on Instagram for the Fat Bear Weekly Sal. I'm not really keeping up with it, but I did want to start along because, one, bears are my favorite animal, obviously. And two, like Eli happened to be in one of my Zoom stitchings one day and I had started it like the day before. But I am stitching this on XJU Designs, I think it's Fallen Leaves in 32 count linen. So this is just kind of the bottom of the bare booty and then start of the leaves. I really only have like 1 day of stitching on this, so I would like to get back to it. And I'm just doing my own colors. So I did pull the called for DMC, but I've just used one of my little transparent Post-it notes to kind of change colors. There's not really enough stitching for you to tell. They're very similar to the DMC. Once I finish, if anybody's interested in the colors, please let me know. I do love my fabric choice. I hope I continue to love it. I think it's going to be really pretty with this piece. So I'm excited about that. So I'd like to get back to it. So that's the bear. I need to I have a giant laundry basket right here, and then up on my desk is my pile of the fabric part of the WIPs. So I'm like precariously, what do I do with this stuff after I've shown it? I'll just make new piles. Okay. But then what do I do with the bags? I don't know. I don't know. The next thing, oh, this is my bag I made following Nicole Spore's tutorial a few years ago. And this is holding my Maggie May by Stacey Nash. Oh, poor Maggie May. I did bobbin, and then literally poor Maggie May has gotten no love at all. So I really need to get back to her. I've seen so many other people's though that I was kind of getting vicarious thrills through that. So I haven't felt the need to have my own, even though this is the first Stacey Nash I bought and was my first favorite. So she's super duper cute. I do not have hardly any stitches on her, but you'll see just the little bottom of her dress. The feet go beneath. I just started her dress because it was more easy stitching for me. And this is 36 count. I think it's flax linen. Let me double check. Yep, flax. And I am using the called for threads on her. I'm not going to change, I don't think I'm going to change her dress. I love everybody's, their versions of Maggie May. But I do really think she is sweet how she is. And I liked the yellow a lot. Plus, if you watch me, you can't see it because I sit really far from my cross stitch stuff back there. But if you've seen my Lily, I went overboard in customizing her. So I think I'm going to leave Maggie May as is because I just think she's sweet. So I will get back to her at some point. That's my first time stitching on, other than finishing bobbin at the same time. That was my first foray into 36 count stitching. So that has been fun as well. I don't have a problem stitching on the 36 count with my magnifier, but I definitely can't see it without my magnifier at this point. My eyes aren't trained that well. So generally I stitch on 32 for the most part. Okay. These are in no particular order because I just pulled them out and ironed them as best as I could and then made piles. The next thing I started for my daughter's first birthday, she turned 1 last month on May 10th. So she's 1 year old. So I started my first Blackbird chart, which of course is Dear Daughter. I'm doing a complete color conversion, but I'm choosing colors as I go. And I'm using primarily cottage garden threads. So I'm stitching this with primarily cottage garden threads on 32 count Crypt cloth by Lap and Loops. It'd be nice if it was a little more straight. This is a beautiful fabric, and I actually already bought more of it a while back. So for instance, the pink flowers on the border here, that's just a variegated cottage garden threads. It's one color. And then I was trying to figure out what colors to use next. So I did try a few. I'm probably going to unpick this pink and choose a different one. And then I haven't decided on my house color yet, but it is ready primarily for fill-in. So it's been a kind of choose your own adventure game I've been playing and things like that. So we'll get back to it though. As long as I have it done by her next birthday, I'm not really worried about stitching on it, that much. But I do really enjoy stitching that pattern, and I really enjoy The Cottage Garden threads are wonderful to stitch with, and I love the crib cloth. So I really should get back to it. Keeping that in my Tiger Lily pattern keeper. I don't know what she calls it. Whatever her club is. It's beautiful. Okay. Next. Wah, wah, wah. You'll see why I say that in a second. Next is my Lola Crow Extraordinary Bird Sow. Yep. If you see anything on the WIP parade, if you happen to watch my last Flosstube last week, I probably haven't made any progress since then. So they are looking all the same, but that's okay. So I am eons behind. Never finished a single part. Didn't finish the frame. I knew I wouldn't because I knew I wasn't capable of it, but I don't care. I still decided to start it. I am stitching it on the called for color, which is Be Stitch Me Sandbar. Is that right? I think so. I am using the Lugana though, because when I ordered everything for it, whenever it was first announced, I wasn't stitching on linen yet. So I am using the Lugana. So I literally have one bird. The shoe bill was just released in the most recent part of this sow, and I really wish I was over there because I just saw a shoe bill a couple weeks ago when I went to the Dallas World Aquarium with my children, and they're terrifying to me, but also so stinking cool. But I really think they're terrifying too. If you don't know what a shoe bill is, look it up. I've actually also seen one at a different zoo in Florida years and years ago, and it was in like an open area. There was no barrier in place or anything like that, and I thought, is this the day I die by shoe bill? I don't know. So anyways, oh, Lola Crow. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. I don't have a picture of it, so if I remember, I'll pop in a picture of where the sow is at. It looks like there's some spaces for either like some prehistoric, like some dinosaurs, which makes sense with birds, or maybe she's adding a few other animals in there as well, like a little lizard. I don't know. I'm curious. I am curious. So anyways, it is really fun, but let's be honest, I'm not finishing that anytime soon. It's not calling to me either, so oh well. The next one, oh look, the other Lola Crow. This is my Deadly Aquarium, and I did kind of stop working on this to start Extraordinary Birds, so it's been a little while since it's seen some love. This is on 32 count Juniper by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I'm using all the called for DMC on both sows. So I'll get back to this at some point as well, but again, I'm not fussed about it too much because it's a lot of stitching for me. But super duper fun. Yeah. I need more stitching time. All right. The next one is a little unique, so I do want to talk about it just a little bit. It is one that I am going to, again, restart at some point down the line, and I'm going to tell you why. I talked about it several Flosstubes ago. I'm not sure in which one it was, but this is my, again, Cottage Garden Samplings floating house. This is in the, what do they call it? Fabulous House series. This is one of my favorites of the series. I was in the club, so I had them all at one point. I did destash most of them. I really liked this one and then the Hobbit house the best. And then I think I kept the tree house and another one, but I destashed the rest. So I started this on a whim, and I started it on 32 count Ledger linen by Be Stitch Me. That looks like this. Oh, you know what? I think it goes this way. I'm not sure. And I ended up buying the Be Stitch Me silk pack for this pattern. And what I found when I started using them, They're gorgeous and lovely to use, but primarily the watercolor, it doesn't have variegation. I can't tell if it has any variegation. Sometimes I'm not good at seeing subtle variegation in threads. And for water, I wanted a lot of variegation because I didn't realize when I started it, I didn't pay attention to the chart, that water is just one color of that aqua-y teal blue. I thought it was more than one. But no, it's just one color. So I'm going to restart this probably on the same fabric. Like I want to keep the fabric, but I'm going to change it to just over-dyed cottons or DMC or whatever. I did pick another blue that I think is a good match. I think it's from Classic Colorworks, and I am going to destash my silks. Now, I've only stitched, you can see, this much on them. So I'm going to put them on destash. However, if anyone sees this and is interested in purchasing this at a discounted price with free shipping, send me an email or an Instagram message because it goes for $84. I'll probably knock it down to like $75 and free shipping, which is a really good deal since I didn't really use, I used a tiny bit of the aqua color and a tiny bit of one of the grays. It might still be in the bag. So they are like pretty much almost fully intact. So if anybody is interested in getting this silk pack for this pattern, or even if you just want it for stash because you like the silks, let me know. Because I'm going to change it to the cottons. So I'm going to just take that out of the, I won't do it yet, but that's going to get restarted. I don't know when exactly, but I'll have to pull the rest of the threads that I need that aren't the silks for that one. But I am going to restart that one. Okay, next is the one I've been working on most recently, held in my little Hemingway pouches. I am making more of these and I plan on selling them. If you are interested in one, stay tuned or even let me know and I'll try to keep you in mind. So I'm super excited about that. I love them. If I didn't mention, I'll talk about it more when I actually, sew them and whatnot. But they fit like a 7-inch Morgan hoop perfectly. And they fit my iPad. I don't know what iPad I have off the top of my head, but fits my iPad too. So this is a free chart on the Doreen Jones Facebook page, not her Facebook group. It's her actual Facebook page. Someone reached out to me and said they couldn't find it. And it was because they were in the group that you have to, get into and answer the questions for. This is just on her regular page. So this is what it looks like. It's called Witch's Shelf Sal because it was a Sal at one point. It has a lot of color changes and a lot of back stitching. I am using all the called for DMC because it is a lot of DMC in shades to get all of the shading on the different elements. So I wasn't messing with that because that would have been a pain. But it is really fun and cute. I love it so much. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Willow Be Stitch Me. So I've made a decent amount of progress. I'm almost done with one of the pages of the pattern. So I've pretty much finished the little vial with the mushrooms and the little voodoo doll guy. I just got to do the leaves and kind of stars and bits. And then all the back stitch, which I think I'm going to do back stitch as I go. But it is so cute. I love it so much. It's going to be so fun. I am wanting to get that done by Halloween or before so I can finish it and display it. I think my kids will like it too. Be like, what's a voodoo doll, mommy? Nothing. Don't worry about that. But it's cute enough that it's I think my son will like it. My daughter will probably try to eat it, but whatever. Okay. Next up, this is my stitch I started in January to be my travel stitch, which I haven't really done much traveling, and I learned I can't really stitch in the car that well. So it hasn't gotten much attention at all. And my paper is all wrinkly, so I'm sorry. But this is Ghost Love by Nathnolu, which is on Etsy. I think they're only on Etsy, but I could be wrong about that. I wonder if they have a Patreon. Should look at that. Maybe they do. Maybe that's how I got all their charts. I got a lot of charts from them. And now I wonder if it's from a Patreon too. Regardless, it's on Etsy. So this is my little ghosty. It's mostly just the outline there. I did start some fill in the last time I got to work on it. This is on Berry Smoothie. I'm not sure of the count. I would assume it's like 28 count. It was in a Primrose kit that I had put together and I swiped it from that. So, and I'm just using threads from my stash because it's just like a few colors, like a pink, gray, white, etc. So it does live in my little travel case though. So as my car stitch, which I don't stitch in the car, but I'm trying to learn. I can't, for me, it's the lighting in the car is actually like almost too bright and I can't see I don't know how to explain it. I can see the holes, but I almost can see through the holes and I can't, I don't know. It's just hard and it's bumpy if my husband's driving. So we don't do good in the car. We'll just stop there. Okay. I don't know if I'm going really fast or really slow. So I feel a little amped up. So I'm sorry. If I forget anything too, and you're curious, just ask me. I always answer. If I don't answer your comment or question, it's because I somehow didn't see it. Because at this point, I generally have time to answer everyone's stuff. The next one I recently started last month is All Are Equal in Death by Modern Folk Embroidery. I was in the spooky vibes in June. I'm not mad about it. I'm still wanting to stitch more Halloween. In fact, I have another Halloween something coming. So I'm not mad at it. I'm not into the Christmas right now. I wasn't into patriotic really. So Halloween, here we are. Hopefully it shows up for you. But this is my start. So it's actually right here. I started the leaves. The white is going to be picked out. I was just testing. I was giving myself a landmark kind of for it. And I may not do the border that's around it. So it is kind of ghosty, but I like that for this chart. And I am stitching this on Boneyard Be Stitch Me. This is the Lugana Boneyard. It's really cool. And I am still not, I'm picking colors as I go again. So I'm not going to do a white for the skeleton. I am going to do more of like some sort of creamy white. And then I just have several greens that I'm basically auditioning and may change throughout the pattern. I have got some Cottage Garden threads, some Classic Colorworks, things like that. So I just heard a gate get knocked down, which may be meaning that a dog or child may be appearing uninvited soon. We'll see. So anyways, I'm excited to keep going on that. It's like easy to stitch because it is like, I don't know, it's easy to stitch on. It is fun. I will tell you, let me show it again and let me know if this has happened to you. This has never happened to me in recent memory anyways. I was stitching this on like my Zoom stitch that I do. And when I was done, I didn't really pay attention at first because I was just stitching and talking. When I was done, I didn't do anything differently. I don't know if it'll show. Can you see that the threads are actually pulling the holes like more open? So you can kind of see, it looks like I pulled the threads really tight. And so now the little black like specks are, you can see the holes more. Like it like stretched it too much. I've never had that happen. I don't know if I had it too tight in my hoop I was using or what. Because I know, like, I don't know. But I'm kind of bummed about that because I don't want it to have like, I don't want that look. So I'm going to have to be careful and next time, and I'm sorry about zippers, next time maybe not stretch it so much. I do like things tight though, so I don't know. Okay, let's see. I don't have the chart on hand for some of these, so I will try to pop in pictures where I can. But the other new start I did in June, or one of the other new starts, I think it was June. This might have been May. This is Franken Scat charted by Lindy Stitches. The artwork is inspired by Terry Runyon. And so it's like Frankenstein, but a cat. And it's super duper cute. This is on 32 count pomegranate linen, which is the linen that everybody that is called for the Ladybug Picnic by Hands On Design. So again, I stole from myself for Franken Scat because I thought it would look really pretty. And I'm just picking my own colors. The chart calls for more of a like pea green, brownie greens. I still have some of those in here, but I did brighten it up a little bit. So when it's done, if you have questions, let me know. But that's super duper fun. And then I'm just going to put, if I don't have my chart easily at hand to show you the picture, I'll pop a picture up on the screen. My In Praise of Pollinators. I started this in January of this year. I really thought I would be like, I'd be done by now. Huh, that was funny. This is the one that is also on Stormy Night, but it is I double checked at least my notes. It is a 32 count Stormy Night Lugana, and it's just super tight for me. So I have struggled with this quite a bit, but it's going to be so pretty when it's done. So I am really excited to continue on. Hopefully I'll have it done this year. If I don't, I won't yell at myself. So super, super duper cute. Let me show you the whole size because I do have the whole border done. So it's going to be so pretty on my wall. Can't wait. I've never framed anything, so that'll be, assuming I don't finish something in between that and frame it, that'll probably be my first frame piece. Okay, like I said, I will pop up pictures for the next things because I don't have their charts easily at hand. The next one I started a few weeks ago is Strawberry Moon from Liz Matthews. This is on 32 count blush linen from Be Stitch Me. And I am using the colors heavily inspired by Bridget the Museum Stitcher. I'm also doing just the smaller version of the chart, and I am not doing the border. So I just have the little cat and the little house for now. So I need to get back to this. It's super cute and super fun. This is on Hello from Liz Matthews Patreon. I don't know if you can still get it or not. I would just go check or maybe message her directly or see if it says on her Patreon. I thought it was done, but then someone else today or yesterday that I was watching said it was still available. So I'm not exactly sure. If anybody wants me to check, let me know and I can try and find out. But I'm not 100% sure if you can get it right now. That one. Okay. The next one is my 4th of July round by Primrose Cottage. And this was their most recent free Friday pattern. I'm stitching on 28 count wheat Lugana, and I'm stitching it with color and cotton. My thread colors, the red is Ladybug, the blue is Coastline, and the white is Picket Fence. So I really need to finish this because 4th of July is this week, but we shall see. I'm not going to let it go like till next year. Like that'd be silly. It's almost done, but I don't know if I don't know. I'm not in the mood to stitch on it right now. Okay, the other is another Primrose I started. This is their newer release, which is the Fruit Salad Quaker. So I've just started the motif here and I have some lemons. I'm stitching this on 32 count smoky white linen. However, I'm not stitching on the printed side. So Smoky White is a printed fabric. It has lots of like the modeling, like it's the white version of vintage country mocha. I'm stitching it on the back side just because I wanted it to be more white, but I didn't have a 32 count white linen or anything like that. I am not using the called for colors. I am using my own colors. And again, I don't have them here. I keep several projects in the same big bag, and I didn't have anywhere else to put something to grab. So again, if you're curious, let me know. But I did pull my own colors based kind of off of theirs, but I did in my mind maybe brighten them up just a tad or change the tone just a tad. There wasn't too many changes. So, but I am super excited to get that one finished. Okay. Chugging along. My next is, this was one of my market release picks that I started for the Nash Stash Startathon, I think in March. This is Hazels Blackberry Burrow by Blueberry Ridge Designs. And I am using the called for weeks threads. And this is on, I think it is oat. Nope, I lied. This is on 32 count Sand Dollar linen by Be Stitch Me. Really pretty. I gotta get back to this. I want to stitch Hazel, the mouse. It's gonna be so pretty. I'll get there someday. Okay. The next was like an instant upon release start for me, which is Strawberry Naps. This, you can't really see what it is, but I'll put a picture up. But this is, there's going to be a black cat laying and some strawberries, so imagine. But this is by Lindy Stitches. I'm stitching it on 32 count Conversation Hearts by Be Stitch Me. I think it's linen. Oh, maybe not. I have some fabrics in linen and Lugana, and I know it sounds weird, but sometimes it's hard to tell which is which. No, it's linen. So Conversation Hearts linen by Be Stitch Me, which if you've seen that fabric, the whole piece has more colors. Like some parts are more blue, green, pink. This is more pink. I picked kind of the pinky orange corner to start on. So I am stitching with my own colors, but they're very similar to hers that are called for. But I am, well, actually, let me look at my notes. I'm going to try not to knock my microphone today and have sound issues like last time. Oh, nope. I'm using the called for DMC, but I changed the black cat will be, instead of 310, it is Classic Colorworks Blackbird, which is more a dark blacky brown color. So not too different, but the rest is called for DMC. Okay. Next here is, while I did not go to Stitch North, I watched all the videos of people that I follow who went and had immediate like FOMO. So I had to get it. So this is Cherry Magpie by JetX Stitches. And this is on, oh, what's it called? Temptation, I think, by Roxy Floss. And I'm using the Roxy Floss conversion for this pattern. So I got it all on Evertotes from Canada. It is gorgeous. Their thread, let me see. This is more akin to realistic. It gets kind of blown out a little bit, but it is more this kind of darker. Their threads, if you've never used Roxy Floss, have been wonderful to work with. I love them. I want more. I can't buy more right now, but I want more. So I really want to get back to this. It's been a really fun stitch. And again, I'll pop a picture up above. I keep wanting to fold my WIPs back up, and I'm trying not to do that because I think I'm going to keep them stored in my project roll instead of in their bags, because ironing today was not fun. I have a lot more WIPs than I thought. In fact, the cherry magpie wasn't even on my list. I forgot about it. So I wrote that down just now so I'd remember when I was done. Okay. The next one. I get easily influenced by other people, which I think we all do, especially Flosstube watchers and Flosstubers. It's so easy to fall into the whole of, ooh, I want to stitch that. And I did. I was watching Lindy Stitches, and she was talking about how she wanted to stitch the Fisher King by Long Dog Samplers with this silk that she got from Silks for You in Australia on this particular linen. And I was like, I'm just going to buy all those things because I want to do that because it looks amazing. And I did. So I am stitching the Fisher King, and I'll put a picture up above, by Long Dog. I'm stitching it on a big old piece of 32 count smoky white linen. So that same linen that I use the other side for my fruit salad Quaker. All I've got is this sad little tree in the corner and some deer. I know this is going to take me years, and I really haven't given it any attention. None in June, maybe not in May. I'm not sure. I think what I struggle with this the most actually is just that it's so big. And I do have like a little stand to hold my Q-snap or my Nurge hoop, but even still, it's been sitting in my craft room on that stand, so I think I forget about it for one. And then just maneuvering around the stand and things is kind of like not my vibe. I did notice, however, when it's been sitting in that Nurge hoop, I did have a little like thread damage where the Nurge hoop was sitting, so I need to not do that. So my goal for the rest of the year is to not leave things in their hoops. So I'm guilty. So I did exactly what Steph from Lindy Stitches said she was going to do. I don't think she ever started this, or she hasn't shown it, because I remember commenting on her post or whatever, her video, and I was like, you enabled me. I had to do it, what you did. And she's like, does that mean I don't have to do it now? So I don't think she's actually started hers. But the silks are really, really pretty. I have the whole big hank of them that I ordered from Silks for You. If you want the specific color, let me know. I don't remember, it's like they have numbers. It was like PR 137 or something. If you're interested, let me know and I will look it up for you. But it's really pretty variegated green. So I do want to keep stitching this. It is just I don't know. I'm just like Doug from Up, squirrel, with like, with other things right now. So we will get back to it though. It will be okay. Okay. Again, these are in no particular order. Next I have, let's see if I can grab charts for you. That would be easier. I do have the picture for this one. Less pictures to put up later. This is Tiny Modernist's Spring Traditions Sampler. This was a release at Nashville Needlework, and I had to have it. I thought it was so cute. I know I should have realized this, but I didn't realize there were other ones out. There's at least an autumn one that I've seen 2 people recently that have either already stitched it or are stitching it, or maybe it was in their WIP parades. So maybe someday I'll do the others. But this is spring, and this is on 32 count oat linen by Bestitch Me, and I'm using a complete over-dyed my own color conversion for it. So I basically have almost 1/4 done. Oh, so much to go. It's really fun to stitch though, and it's really pretty. So again, that is Spring Traditions Sampler by Tiny Modernist. 32 count oat linen. Super duper fun. I talked about putting this away because it's not spring anymore, but I don't really care about that kind of thing. I don't really want to put winter stuff out in the summertime, but this to me is so like neutral. like, I live in Texas. It doesn't look, I mean, it looks like summer out there, but there's also flowers blooming and things. So I could stitch it right now too if I wanted. Okay. The next one is one of my ones I know I showed in my first WIP parade and I have not gotten back to. And I really was thinking about it the last few weeks, knowing I was probably going to do a WIP parade and knowing that it was in there. And I really thought until today that I was going to completely de-stash the chart, the threads, my WIP if people wanted it. And then I finally pulled it out and I saw I had done more than I thought. So I think it was in 2024 maybe I started this. I'm not exactly sure. But I started the Country Cottage Needleworks Big City Christmas. There's a glare, so I'm sorry. So I do have all of the charts, and I did buy the floss pack from Fat Quarter Shop. So like what Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop would have stitched on, and the threads and everything. And I had initially planned on stitching all the series as one long piece. So I think this is department store. They each have a little name. So this is my start that I never got back to, even though it's been a few years. But I think this is department store. You can see poor little Santa doesn't even have a face. I thought I literally had like none of this building done though, until I pulled it out today. So this would be I have it written down, 32 count platinum Lugana. And this is how big it would be with the border. If I did, make sure I'm not muffled. This is how big it would be with the border if I did all of them together. But I'm not super motivated to stitch them right now. But when I looked at how much I had done, and I was like, you know, they are cute. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to keep everything, but I'm going to change and I'm going to do them singularly, so that when I finish one, I can finish it and have it out. Because yes, it would look cute if they were all lined up like it's a big street, but this is a big piece to put somewhere on your wall. So I would rather finish them as singles so that I can get them finished as they're done and have them to display. And then maybe I'll do a little display where they can sit as they're finished. So that's my plan for that one. So hopefully I'll get back to that. I'm probably not going to do any Christmas in July stitching, to be quite honest. I'm much more into spooky ween this year because I don't know, vibes. I don't know. But I would like to get back to this because it wouldn't take long to finish just this one, and then I could finish it and then go back to the others, you know, down the road when I felt like it. So that's my plan for that. And I think there's nothing wrong if you decide to never finish your chart. Maybe you cut part of the stitching off so you can call it done. You do what you want to do. So that's what I'm going to do for that one. And now I think, oh, I'm going to have a really quick Christmas finish now because I'll have this cute little stitch and I'll probably make a little pillow or something. So I'm actually much more optimistic about that now than I was when I was thinking about it the last few weeks. I was like, oh, big city Christmas. Ugh. But it was truly because I just really didn't want to stitch it all again. So I changed my plan. Can you tell I like Primrose Cottage? Here's another one. This is Give Thanks Home, their little home series, which is super duper cute. I started this at least 2 years ago. I remember thinking, I'm going to stitch that and I'm going to put it on my table at Thanksgiving. That didn't happen. But I do have a cute little turkey. That's all. A cute little turkey. I didn't have this on my list either. Oh no. I gotta write it down real quick. My WIP number is increasing. So I don't know what fabric this is. I can tell you it's probably 32 count, like mushroom or platinum or prim. It's one of those. Because that's all that I used to stitch on because that was like what Primrose used. It's what like Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop used. So I do know that it's probably that. And I think it is probably called for colors for the most part. But honestly, I don't remember because, again, it was years ago and I didn't write things down back then. So it is cute. I'm going to try to get this done for Thanksgiving this year because all these little smalls, there's no reason for them to sit in a bag all year. So that goes with the next one I'm going to talk about too. I feel really bad that it's not done because I had high ambitions. I think I actually started this one last year. Let me see if I can find my chart. This is Tiny Botanist, who obviously I also love. This is Mouse's Halloween stitching. Super duper cute. I did start this last year, so it's not that old, but I just didn't get very far. So all I have is a little pumpkin. I'm stitching this on, this is the leftover juniper fabric. I don't know if I said what my fabric was for Deadly Aquarium, but it was 32 count juniper by Fabrics by Stephanie, and this is part of the leftovers of that. And I don't know the colors off the top of my head, but they are the same colors that Primrose used for their Salem Sisters stitchery piece, because I was stitching them. I stitched that first, and I literally just started this and stole the threads from that and then added a few that obviously weren't in their stitching stuff. So maybe that will get done too. I just need to stop starting things. All right. The next one is the Black Needle Society Frogwarts. This is year 1. This is a series that they do, and this is a virtual retreat that they do that is a big deal in that community. I was on the bandwagon very late and was able to purchase these. I think I purchased them from someone that had not stitched them yet, who wasn't going to stitch them, but you can also get some of them on their website. However, Black Needle Society releases virtual retreats and other things in their boxes, and they're exclusive for a while until they go into the vault. And then occasionally they come out of the vault. It's a whole thing, and I don't know everything about it. But they do the Frogwarts retreat for the last several years, and actually this month is the next Frogwarts retreat, which will be year 6. Is that right? 4, 3. Do I have 2 4s? No. There's a typo on this chart. That's 5. Yes, this is 6. I do have all of the charts. So they're all the band samplers that I'm planning on stitching someday. I actually got my Frogwarts year 6 box for the virtual retreat in the mail today. So probably after this, a little bit later, I'm going to film an unboxing for that. But the way it works is with Frogwarts in particular, it's very challenge based. And I did go to one other, I did their Downton Abbey retreat this year. And it is a unique virtual retreat experience in the fact that they do a lot of games and like giveaways during the retreat. They do like, you have to stitch for points and things like that. Frogwarts is really intense in the fact that you're like sorted into potentially either a Hogwarts house. Frogwarts is like Harry Potter, like Hogwarts, but obviously they're not going to say Hogwarts. But anyways, it's a very intense thing. So I was a little overwhelmed when I did the Downton Abbey one, and then everybody told me that Frogwarts is more crazy. But it is a lot of fun. I don't know how much I'll be able to participate and do the challenges and things, just because life is crazy and I have little kids and it's several days and during the day and stuff. So it's difficult to do, but it is still fun. And I wanted the box because otherwise some of those things you may never be able to get, or some of them you may have to wait for. So anyways, now that I've said all that you may or may not care about, I did start when I got on the bandwagon last year with Black Needle Society, I did start that band sampler. It was my first time ever stitching on linen, and I was still kind of uncomfortable then, so I do not have a big start at all. I just have a tiny bit of the first border, and this is part of Hedwig, the owl. So this is 32 count cream puff linen, but I don't know who dyes cream puff because it's not listed on here. I bought this like either at the Silver Needle or Cecilia's Samplers back when I thought maybe I'll try stitching on linen, and then I never really done it. So I don't even know if I started correctly on this, but I'm going to get back to it. I can't decide if I'm probably just going to start the new band sampler when I open my box. And this one's probably going to wait for a little bit because I think you get like more points if you stitch on the current one. I'm not sure. The Black Needle Society is a whole nother world for me, but it's lots of fun. So anyways, if you want to watch my unboxing, I'll have that maybe in the next couple days. It's going to be a surprise to me, but it came in the mail today. So the other thing that I started stitching when I did like at the very same time as Frogwarts was I did start stitching my other first start on linen, which is pathetic because it's literally a line of stitches that I'll probably take out just to make sure that I am stitching correctly on the linen because I didn't know at the time that it kind of mattered where you start on linen, like where you put your needle in the hole. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me know and I'll send you like the little graphic I use to remember that. But I had seen people stitching the Winterberry and Pine by Brenda Gervais. So cute. But this went in and out of stock on Brenda Gervais's website, which I think is Country Samplers. And finally, when it came back in stock, someone told me because I had like done an ISO post on a Facebook group, and obviously everybody was like, yeah, we all want that. But someone that had seen my post was like, hey, did you see it's back in at her website? So I went and I purchased her kit, which obviously came on linen, which I wasn't stitching on at that point, but I did decide to try. And there I only got one singular line of stitches. So now that I'm more comfortable on linen, I think this is 36 count. I will get back to this in time, hopefully to get it done for Christmas because it is beautiful. I want to stitch it so bad. It does have 1/1 stitching, which I've done one time and did not enjoy, but I will do my best to get it done. I am using everything that was included in the kit, so everything is called for as it was kitted directly from her website. I do not know if that is currently available right now. You would just need to go to her website and check and keep an eye out. I must have a hanging thread on that because there's a big long thread coming off. So I know I had some hanging threads going on. Okay, we're getting down to the last few here. All right, the next one I'm really excited about. It's a big one. I'll just show the half of it. This is my hands-on design year of celebration season 2. I did work on this year and then I put it away. So I started this last year, I believe. Let me see if I wrote it down. I started it in 2024, in May of 2024. And when I started it, for some reason, I don't remember why. Maybe because I started it in May, but that's probably the reason. Yeah, that is the reason. Duh. So I started with May of last year, and then I did, or maybe I started, I don't know. I did May, and then I kind of worked my way around. The last one I did, I kind of got back to it this year, and I did these 3, I believe. I think. My memory is terrible. Regardless, I'm halfway done. No, 3, 6. Yes, I'm halfway done. Duh, that's why it's been put away. So I'm getting this back out this month, and I'm going to do July next and keep working on it till it's done for the year. This is the one thing that I am holding myself to, is to finish this year and have myself a little present to myself at the end of the year and have it be done. This is stitched on 25 count prim, and I'm using Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop's colors. I bought the floss pack from them, and I'm stitching it the same way she did. I think my border is a different color, but it's a very similar color. So it's going to be quite large, but it is super fun, super cute. And these stitch up so fast. Like, I mean, I think you could stitch it in a day. If you're a fast stitcher, you could stitch it in a day, no problem. If you hear my son yelling, I'm sorry. He's 4. I think he's talking about going to the bathroom. So if you heard any of that, sorry. Anyways, so I'm excited to have this done. It stitches pretty quickly and they're fun. And I feel like each one is like a new start and a new finish, even though I'm stitching it in one piece. So that is super cute. All right, we're gonna leave you out. All right, we are down to my last WIP, which is a newer start for me. You've seen it in my recent videos, but it is my Primrose Cottage Honeybee Quaker. And I'll pop a picture up of anything I didn't show. This is on 25 count white Lugana with the called for colors. However, I noticed I stitched this gray around that motif, the dark gray around that motif. It was supposed to be the lighter gray that's called for, and I accidentally swapped them. Oh well, it's not coming out, so I think it looks fine. This is stitched on the 25 count white. It's what all of my current bee stuff is stitched on. It's like what I stitched on at the time these were released. Now I tend to not stitch on 25 count, but it is so nice to go back to because it's super easy to stitch on. And so it's been fun to kind of go back this way and stitch these. And I wanted it all to match my other bee stuff. So it's all on the same count, and the bee stuff is what I have the most of, like a certain thing stitched in my house. I have hive rolls done, which is probably my favorite piece I've ever done from Primrose. I have their I'd Rather Bee stitching. I have this. And then from Heart and Hand, I have Honey of a Tiny Town. And I used the same colors. I didn't stitch it in white, but I used the same colors as my Primrose chart so that all my bee stuff would coordinate. So, I feel like I need a drink. That was my last one though. So I really need to go back and count. I know I'm like around 24 or 25, maybe a few more, because when I was making my notes and then when I went and did this with you guys, I realized I forgot some on my notes. So my WIPs have grown quite a bit. My WIPs that I showed in my first WIP parade did not get much love in the last 6 months because I've started all the new things. So I am going to try to get back to some of them. But as you saw, I'm going to be unkitting and restarting others at a later time, which I think is perfectly fine because tastes change. And honestly, at this stage, I really just want to stitch on what I stitch on. And if that means starting more new things, that's fine for me. I don't mind that. I am going to try not to start really big projects, but it is so hard because there's so much cute stuff out there to stitch. So thank you so much for watching. If I forgot anything or you have questions about anything that I showed today, please just send me a message and let me know. I probably won't do any timestamps today because that's a lot of timestamps if I did each individual WIP. So please just let me know if you have a question about anything and I'm happy to answer that. If anybody is interested in the silks from my floating house stitch that I am destashing, let me know. I'll give it a few days if no one is interested, if no one reaches out to me here I'll probably just put it on like the Facebook group or my Instagram or Patreon or something like that. But I did have other people reach out to me on my last video and like buy my other destash things. So I wanted to put it out here in case you're watching and you would like those. Again, I'll have them discounted a little bit. So you save quite a bit. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else in a WIP parade I should talk about. I don't remember. I didn't introduce myself again, so I am sorry about that. So if you are just catching me as a new viewer, welcome and thank you for watching. My name's Jennifer. I currently live in Texas with my husband and my 2 kids who are 4 and 1. I have 3 dogs, 2 cats. And yeah, I like doing all the crafty things. I like sewing now. I love stitching. I love card making. I love really like any craft other than I tried to knit or I tried to crochet and that did not go well recently, but maybe one day we'll get back to it. So I don't know. So anyways, thank you again for watching. If you want to like and subscribe, that would be wonderful. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing, if you want to leave me a friendly comment, I always love reading those and responding back to you all. And I love watching WIP parades and just Flosstube in general. So I'll be watching all the ones I can literally consume every day. So yeah, so thank you again for watching. It is 4th of July week coming up in a few days. We have the holidays, so I hope you get to spend time with your families. We are not going to be doing any celebrating this year just because we have lots of pets, and my little daughter and really my son too, who's older, they get a little scared still from the loud noises and the bangs and things like that. So we'll probably just be hanging out inside, but I do think we are going to have a movie night this week. We have a little outdoor projector and our pool, so we might do some grilling and things like that, but we might kind of keep it on the down low for 4th of July and kind of stay out of the big noises and things like that. So, but I hope if you are celebrating, you get to spend time with your family, you get to see fireworks and do all the fun things. Yeah, so otherwise I will see you next time for my regular update. And yeah, I hope you have a great week. Bye.